I have had many communications with Jesus Christ, the Savior of this world, and our heavenly parents. I've had many angelic visitors have come and communicated with me and even manifested themselves to me. Because of these communications, I know for a fact that my children are happy and busy in the spirit world. Because of my communications with my friend Tammy Daybell, I know that she is also very happy and extremely busy. I have always mourned the loss of my loved ones, and I have lost many in this mortal world. However, I know them more than most people. I know where they are now and what they're doing. I know how wonderful heaven is, and I'm homesick for it every single day.
Lori Daybell talking about that she's lost many people. Like, at least 3 of them right now are your victims that you were convicted of taking part in their murders. Unreal. That was her at sentencing, Lori Daybell. But tonight we're talking about Alec Murdaugh maybe getting a new trial. So why don't we just throw in the Doomsday cult killer, Lori Daybell, as well. The public defender now taking over her appeal, but her prior attorney laid out some of the issues that may be part of her appellate. This is all from the notice. Take a look. Did the court make an error on April 11th, 2022, when they found that the defendant, after spending 10 months in a mental hospital, was competent to stand trial? Did the court make an error when allowing the government to amend the grand jury indictment 2 years after the indictment was filed without sending the case back to the grand jury? Did the court make an error when allowing the jury to hear statements of co-conspirators, but then rule in jury instructions that the government need not prove those persons were part of the conspiracy? Did the sentencing court abuse its discretion by ordering the defendant to serve 3 consecutive fixed life sentences without parole? So, we've been talking about Alec Murdaugh tonight, how that's a real issue if it's true. How about these issues for the Doomsday cult killer, Lori Daybell? Let's bring back in our think tank, Ann Bremner, Rick King, Lori Murray with us. Rick, did anything strike you there as like, oh, that's a real issue? Or are these all still going to make their way through my lost shaker of Himalayan salt?
I think they're going to slide right there. Well, they're going to get caught up in your lost shaker of salt. I mean, obviously, competency is always an issue at any trial, and it's because it comes down to fairness. Was the defendant able to meaningfully participate in the trial? Did they understand the process as it was going along, the entire process, and were they able to understand what was going on? And so, competency happens from the beginning to the very end. So that's one of the things that you can always look back and say, hey, was there a fair rendering of justice when it came down to
But there was a hearing on all of
that.
There was a hearing on all of that.
Correct.
Right, and a determination. So, like, where are we going with that?
But that can change. Competency can change from the beginning to the end. And so that's just a question. That's a question they're going to have to answer. Do I believe it's going to get stuck in pass through your shaker of salt? Most likely.
Yeah. Lori Murray, see, this is why in the Murdaugh case, I prefaced everything by saying, I've heard this a million times. We always do, and we're glad that you guys are fighting for him. Keeps our system honest. Don't get me wrong. I want an honest system. I want the truth. But are you seeing anything here, Lori, for the Doomsday cult killer?
No. I'm seeing a travesty of makeup right there and on your camera, but no, I think that, that you can force medicate defendants, and I've been involved in a case where they were force medicated. But, in my case, and I think specifically in this case, the same is true, that just because she holds a specific set of beliefs that are her religious beliefs, and they might seem crazy to us, that doesn't make her crazy. Those are her religious beliefs. What makes her crazy and not able or incompetent, sorry about the crazy, but incompetent is her inability to assist the lawyers that she's working with. And you can have these beliefs, but just because they seem outside the norm to us does not mean that she's incompetent. She can still believe what she wants to believe and be competent.
And Bremner, for me, the telltale sign on what's going on in her mind in compensated trial is reactions at certain moments. And while our cameras were excluded from this trial, we had our people inside, and everything that was described to us seemed consistent with when certain things would happen, she would react in a way, which tells me, oh yeah, she's tuned in. She's tuned in.
Yeah. She was totally tuned in, and she was tuned in with that whole speech at the end. I was thinking with your shaker of salt, you need some spaghetti in there. Just throw all the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. That's how many issues they've
Well, let me tell you about salt and spaghetti really quickly. You
Okay.
put the salt in the water to make it boil at a higher temperature. Okay, so you can cook it a little bit better. That's why you put the salt in the water for your spaghetti. But yeah, then you throw it against the wall, see if anything sticks. And I get it, that's what the defense has to do. Rick King, here's the other thing that's happening with Lori Daybell, is at some point she's gonna be down in Arizona for another murder trial, for the murder of her husband, Charles, which preceded the other 3 murders she's been convicted of already. What are your thoughts on that case, where it was her brother who shot and killed her husband, claimed self-defense, and then died on the toilet before he could be charged with anything? What's that trial gonna look like?
You know, Vinny, on that particular case, because this is the case, if I'm wrong, this is the one where I think you just said it, where the brother killed Charles.
Right,
correct?
right. But they're going to allege it was a conspiracy. She was smiling afterwards.
Right.
There were no tears. She was a little flirty with the responding officer.
Right. So what I was going to say is that I remember watching the video that we showed here on Court TV, and that showed her response to what happened and how she was not quite as you would expect it to be. However, that being said, I think it's going to be pointing to the empty chair. And I think that's what she's going to say. Look, I had nothing to do with this. He killed him. We all know he killed him. My reaction was my reaction. And maybe it goes back to her competency again. I don't know. But I think it's going to be the empty chair defense.
Yeah. Lori, when you look at someone like this, Lori Daybell, and we heard what she said at the sentencing, where she's talking about her friend, Tammy Daybell, right? The wife who was murdered, and then she married, like 17 days later, the murdered wife's husband, Chad. Chad Daybell's gonna have a trial as well. Do you think it's possible that Lori Daybell will testify at Chad's trial and maybe take the fall for him so the prophet can be released to lead the 144,000 on the day of reckoning?
Oh, I have not considered that one. You know, see, you are a defense attorney at heart. I don't think our lawyers would let her. Good Lord, I certainly would be asking. She's wacky enough to do it. So if I was his lawyer, I would certainly be asking her to do it. Hey, there's no sense in both of you going down. But no, I don't see that. I don't see her lawyers allowing her to do that. That would be insanity. That would be incompetence.
Well, let's see what happens. Anyway, fasten your seatbelts.
Girls did it. Remember the Manson girls?
Oh, they did. They did. That's right. One of them just got out. Don't get me started.